planning a few videos for quite a while now, and while one of them is already on the making, and it concerns the Nikon 105 f2.5 lens, which took this mythical portrait, another is on the back of my mind, because it concerns a camera that miserably lives in the back shelf for around 3 years now. And while I often speak about my Nikon F, my Hasselblads, my Mamiyas, my Rolleiflexes, this camera kind of remains forgotten, along with my ever-growing collection of Hot Wheel cars and my own museum of long out-of-order computer components. As you've probably already noticed, the camera is made out of premium wood. On my own model, this is maple and walnut. As this camera also contains the option of rise, it holds 3 pinholes instead of the normal 1-pin camera. A pinhole camera made by ONDU, as being a large 4x5 pinhole camera. It is already quite rare to see a pinhole, and even more rare to have it on large format. This one was actually quite cheap, as instead of almost 300 euros, I got it through a friend and only paid around 80. It came with a cooking holder, or as the French say, coucan, and a couple of filters with it. Even so, I couldn't find myself the time or will to use it until right about now, that I am forcing myself to use her. I should also say on behalf of this camera that I also have the Polaroid film holder, but I don't have any Polaroid to go with it, so it remains literally unused. Polaroids don't really make my style anyway. Going to use this to photograph this abandoned chapel. Somewhere there at the entrance we should have some abandoned sarcophagus. See it? First disappointment of the day, so I did the first thing that any Portuguese would do, knowing that there would be no one there, is knock at the door. And I'm very proud on telling you that I actually resisted on the second thing that the Portuguese would do, knowing that no one would be around, which would be to lay on the sarcophagus itself. I did resist my unnatural Portuguese instinct, so I kind of deserve a Nobel Prize at least for it. And this leads me to the second issue of the day, which is I forgot my light meter in the car, which then leads me to the third issue of the day. I actually forgot the quick release of the tripod, so I had to make pressure and hold the camera in my hand against the tripod. And just like my mother used to say, he who does not have a dog hunts with a cat. Another thing I immediately knew that I would lose it was my ONDU exposure card. And this comes with the camera itself, and the guy that sold me also gave it to me, but I immediately knew that I was going to lose it, so I wrote it down on my Kindle Scribe just for future reference, and I'm glad I did because it didn't last not even a week on my hands. And according to my own experience using ASA 100 films, I had the notion that it would be somewhere f11 at 1/25th of a second. This means then, if my gut instinct is correct, it would be f16 at 1/60 of a second, and finally f22 at 1 1/30th of a second. So if I pick up the card that I've lost and took my notes on my Kindle Scribe, this actually tells me that it's between 2 to 5 seconds, so I decided to go for the 2-second mark. And with that already decided, I took the dark slide out and I took the scientific approach as well, so I picked up the slide and put it on my mouth. This is of course to add a spicy flavor at the final image. And 1, 2 seconds and that's it. Dark slide in and picture is done. But let me put you in pause and explain something really basic about this camera. You see, I could have started this in the whole beginning, but I didn't. I wanted to be different, so I'm going to explain now in the middle of the video. See, everything is held together by these 2 wooden ribs and the 4 magnets that you see. And this is such a brilliantly well invented system that when you put it together, which is actually quite easy to do as you can see, it is really sturdy and it doesn't move no matter how much force you put it. And loading it is also pretty much straightforward, as any 4x5 film holder is. You fill the notch with your right hand, you remove the dark slide, you open the flap and you insert the film as you are now seeing. Please do also bear in mind that this has to be done in utter darkness. I'm just doing this here for show purpose. Oh, and this film is already damaged, so no film was hurt during this shot. And the camera is so simple to use that a person with 2 live brain cells can actually do it. You just remove the dark slide, and by doing so you can see that the film is open inside the camera itself. And then you just flick the button down and there is your exposure. Pretty much straightforward. Then you just close the pinhole, put the dark slide in its place, and that's it. Done. No rocket science here. It's like what I said. Any guy with 2 live brain cells or a guy that is able to write his own name in a piece of paper can actually do this. It's as simple as it gets. Now, while editing this video, I know exactly how the image turned out, so but there is something I need to say to you. I bought these holders on eBay. When they arrived, they had the name Aoyagi, so probably it was the last owner of the film holders, which probably died, and then this got sold on eBay. So Mr. Aoyagi, I'm sorry, but this was the best I could do with your film holders, and I know that now you should be, rumbling around in your tomb, which is not this one right here, asking how could this be? You've generated so good images and this guy had to come and ruin it all. And what to say about the image? I really don't like it. I don't like the composition. There is nothing special about it besides the fact that it was taken with a pinhole camera. It's completely my fault, mea culpa. The thing is, with this camera you don't have a preview. You have to pretty much guess. There is no viewing part that allows you to more or less frame as you want to. But again, this is no excuse for this really bad image. This is not a keeper. And I'm sorry for, showing it to you and forcing you to see the image. It even tickles from the inside. A side project that I'm doing is the construction of a small table for my office use. The small table is going to look close to this big table that very soon you'll see on my office, as it will substitute the current grey tabletop that you see on my videos. I've built it to be a river table where on one side it spills and overflows like the basin of a real river. The colors that I've used to make the water are an attempt to simulate algae or algae, I don't know how to pronounce it, algae or algae, on the bottom riverbed. This table used around 12 liters of resin, and I've built it in a period of 3 weeks. Inside it also has a 12-volt amplifier, so I can control volume, bass and treble of the 2 Kenwood stereo speakers embedded. It is a hard work, but like a tattoo, and I should know because I have several, the end justifies all the efforts. And aside from all this, I also needed a sanding machine, so instead of buying one, I decided to build one. For only $2.99 I bought on eBay a DC fan. These are 12 volts driven, and as you probably know, I also build lithium batteries, so I just needed to come up with the idea. The base is wood, that otherwise would have been thrown away. The fan will be set on springs and on top of it a reservoir that will hold beach sand. By unbalancing the fan, the sand will be on constant move, and if I put inside a piece of rusted metal, like for instance an old screwdriver, the sand will slowly remove the rust away. So everything now is hot glued and in place. The cable is here ready to be connected to one of these batteries. One of these ones I've glued in order to create an imbalancement because I want this to shake. Glue here a piece of metal and this should start to shake. So let's do the test. It either starts to shake or it burns the house down. It works and it shakes. That's exactly what I wanted. If I also tell you that I've set solar panels and a huge battery at home, this sanding machine at the end just costed $2.99 and its maintenance is basically for free. So the mail arrived and due to stupid reasons, please understand, I dropped my developing tank which broke one of the 3 LED supports. I was forced to buy another Paterson tank. But this time I got the bigger brother, the PTP118 that develops either 8 135s, 5 120s or a combination of both along with a 4x5 developing holder. And here's the PTP116 together with his bigger brother just for you to see the big difference. I've been willing to buy this tank for quite a while now, but only now I got the real reason to get one. This also forced me to think on the development process because, well, I developed this kind of contraption to help me do continuous agitation. So I needed to space these 2 ball bearings apart so it fits both tanks in case I still want to use the old one. Testing phase in 3, 2, 1. And it fits. It works. And now that you already know how I develop my image at home, I'll take you to the second image I took with the ONDU Pinhole camera. But before that I need to tell you that I did another image in between and it's as bit as bad as the previous one. I'll save you the eyesore and show it to you using only the time length to go through it and not 1 millisecond more. On this specific one, you can clearly see why I don't like it. I did not notice that my shadowy figure would silently creep in the final image. The composition is okay, but it would be a common composition that anyone would do if they be there. Concerning the shadow, that's due to neglecting that the length between the film plane and the pinhole is 71mm, therefore becoming more or less a 20 to 22mm lens on the normal SLR camera. In simple terms, that is way wide, dude. This is a mea culpa moment where the sole culprit sits roughly 25 centimeters behind the camera. I am deeply sorry for showing you this, and if you subscribe to my channel, I promise that if you got eyesore, astigmatism or cataracts from watching that image, you'll be fully medically covered by the YouTube Medical Eye Assist. I still don't know if it is Eye Assist or Eye Assist, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So allow me to divide this screen into 2. Where on the right I'll take my time to do the final image of the day, and this comprehends calculating and comparing to get the optimal exposure for f251. Yeah, f251, which for your information was of 5 seconds. All of those handheld and just resting against the tripod because, as I said before, I completely forgot the tripod quick release at home. And on the left part of the screen you will see me building the small table, initially by turning the base liquid tight as I will be pouring epoxy over it. The colors I'll be using will be gold dust, oxidized black and ultramarine blue. After pouring, I have a very small window of opportunity which goes from 1 hour and a half to 2 hours, meaning basically 30 minutes, that the resin is already entering its hardening phase, which will last for 4 days, but it's still sludgy enough to allow me to draw on it and, if needed, move her around or put more resin. On this specific tabletop, I did 2 major pourings and 1 final minimal pour for leveling it. This is the final outcome. Sanding and legs will follow shortly. But hey, don't lose your focus, and we have an image coming up in right about now. And this one is somewhere between acceptable to good. It has a certain old age aesthetic that I kinda like it. And given the fact that I did not had a light meter, a tripod quick release, and those 5 seconds were handheld, she turned out to be a keeper. I'm also keen on the strong vignetting and also the grain structure of the sky. As conclusion, I'd like to say to you that I would have my doubts on buying this camera for almost 300 hard to earn euros. But if you find it cheap at the local second-hand market, I'd say go for gold and go for it. This is a bit like buying a Holga. You already know that you're not buying the sharpest one of the bunch, but as the renowned Pulitzer Prize winner Kevin Carter once said, sharpness is so overrated. And I tend to agree with him on that. It's now about time to hit the road and go home for supper, feed the dogs, and do the first thing that comes to my mind without thinking on the consequences. For a guy of my own age, this is generally going to bed early. So many thanks for watching till the end. It's been some wonderful 17 minutes and I hope to see you next time. Please do hit the like and subscribe in case you like and want to subscribe. I bid you farewell, or as we say in Portuguese, até à próxima.